I'm currently replacing the rear brake pipes on my 124. These are the old ones. So this is the divider valve. This is what goes to the front of the car. And you've got the left rear and the right rear. So I was going to show you how to bend them, or how I found best to bend them. So first of all, these are replacement copper ones. I always buy my brake pipes from Mercedes. They're not very much money really, and you're just getting the proper thing. You've got the correct flares, they're the right length. So that's what I always do. I've got a new one of these dividers as well. And the only tool I really use is this bending flare tool out of this kit here. But this is the only one I use. Okay, so pick an end to start with, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to start from this divider end. So this is the first bend we need to make. So I usually use the tool just to see what this distance is, and that distance between the nut and where the first bend is going to be is about the width of that tool. So we take our new pipe, make sure this is this side, because I have occasionally with a lapsed mine bent it the other way and then I can't get the bit back. So we're going to put the tool on as close up to the end of that as we can. We just clamp it down. And then we just look at this. So the orientation doesn't matter too much, like which direction it bends in, as long as we get this curve about right. So it's just a little bit less than 90 degrees. So I'm just going to do it by hand. So I'm just going to bend by hand a little bit less than 90 degrees. So let's just have a quick look and see how that looks compared to the original one. So if that's in there, that's not quite enough yet, we just need to go a little bit more. Okay, so that's pretty close, that roughly follows that. Now, this is the thing that I've found is really helpful. So normal electrical tape. So now I'm going to tape these bits together that are already the correct shape. So I'm going to start with this here. I'm going to take that together. I mean, this is a lot easier if you can get it out of this, which I could do if I cut it off, but I just wanted to show you like this. So when I come to do this other side, I'll probably just cut it off to make it easier. So that's taped together. I'm going to put another bit of tape around this bit, so because this is also the right shape before the next bend that we're getting to. Okay, so that's roughly held together. So now for this next one, I'm hopefully going to just do this by hand. So I'm going to put my thumb there. I need to go a little bit more. There is going to be a little bit of leeway with this on the car, and once you get back to the car and sort of offer it into place, you've got a chance to adjust it still. So I still need to bend that a bit more. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not brilliant, but it should be good enough. Like I say, we can adjust this a little bit when we come to fit it on the car. So I'm going to put another little bit of tape around this bit. Okay, the idea of the tape is it's easier to keep the direction of it correct, because sometimes you can put in a 90-degree bend and instead of it facing this way, it's facing this way a little bit. So I just find the tape helps to stop that happening. It's also difficult with old brake pipes like this. You can see this is slightly curved here, and I don't know if that's supposed to be curved or if it's actually supposed to be straight, but the person that did it last with these weak copper pipes curved it. So I'm just going to follow it as close as I can, and I'm inevitably going to have to adjust it a little bit once it gets onto the car. Right, so we're ready for our next bend. I think that probably is deliberate. There's a slight flat bit and then it bends upwards, so I'm going to put that in. Okay, now we're going to bend down this direction, which actually goes at a bit of an angle. Something like that. Let's take these Mercedes stickers off. Trying to do this a bit quicker so it's not a really long video, so it's not going to be quite as good as it should be, but we'll get it to fit. Okay, I'm going to do a final bend. Right, I think this is close enough that we can go and have a look on the car and see what we need to do to adjust it, because all it's really got to do here is get around the top of the spring housing. That's the main bit really. The rest of it is, doesn't matter too much. Okay, so we're looking underneath the near side rear of the car. This is the near side rear spring cup holder. This is where the brake pipe goes through to the flexi, and this is the one that goes to the front of the car, and there is a hole just there that the divider clips into. So I'm just going to try and put this screw gently into the hole for the divider. Okay, so that's holding that in roughly in place. Now this pipe here is supposed to come around the front, so you can see where that curve is to fit around the front and then slot into this hole. So as we are a little bit off, I'm going to have to just bend it a little bit more. Okay, so we need to get this into here. So all of this needs to just get bent in a little bit like this. So we can get that down the hole where it's supposed to be. So that actually fits in pretty good there now. So this will be twisted around. There we are, that's pretty good. Once the flexi's on, that will clamp this. This will be clamped into place. So I may need to do a little bit more fiddling just to get it nice, but that's roughly right, and the subframe's going to come up here. So just same again on the other side. So that's like a pretty simple way how to bend your brake lines. I'm sure other people have got better ideas, but this works for me.